everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. We will be talking about May favorites already. The month of May is gone, which means summer is officially around the corner, although I'm super excited that it's warming up outside. I actually like doing favorites videos because I think it's really valuable to kind of look back and see what's working, see what's not. You find out what's not working, you get rid of it, go buy some more of something else. Or just look for sales and restock up on what you already think is a really good thing. So I love favorites and I love watching other people's favorites as well. So let's just get started because I got a lot to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is the L'Oreal Voluminous Miss Manga Rock mascara. So they had a Miss Manga, a pink one. I didn't like that one at all. I don't even remember what it was called. But this is the Miss Manga Rock one, and it claims to be able to give you kind of spiky lashes. So if you're more a favor of the au naturel, this is not for you. The brush is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen a brush that looks like this before. I'm not sure it'll pick it up, but it is bendy. I'm not gonna, well, yeah, here. It is kind of bendy at the end, and that's kind of what I really didn't like about the pink version of this by L'Oreal, but this one I don't care that it bends because it is an amazing volumizer when it comes to your lashes. It's actually an awesome step 2, which is kind of how I use it. I always use a lengthener first and I follow it with a volumizer. And because the bristles on this mascara are set far apart enough, they actually can, the brush can actually go around your lashes versus scraping off the mascara that you may have already applied either on a first coat or on a lengthener mascara. You know, you sometimes go in with another coat and it just starts peeling off the mascara you've already put on. This one can't really do that because the bristles are set so far apart because it's meant to give you intense volume, which actually just makes the whole entire job that much neater. I'm kind of really excited about this because I think for the first time ever, I have come up with a designer dupe for the Christian Dior Show mascara. So this mascara is like stupid expensive, but every time I stop buying it and I try to find something else for it, I always go back to it. But it's the same idea. It's got really wide bristles on the brush, and so it winds up being an amazing step 2 when it comes to applying a second coat of mascara. It's like it's almost like $30. I don't know. This one is like less than 10. I think that the design of the brush, like I said, works really well to be able to build a lot of volumes of mascara. I'm actually thinking about doing a review on this particular mascara and how I use it in my 2-step process. So if that's something you'd like to be able to see at some point, just let me know in the comments below and I'd be happy to take care of it. The next thing that I've been loving is from Bobbi Brown, and it came out a long time ago enough, but I recently started using it. It comes in a little tiny case like this. It's called the Bobbi Brown Corrector, and it's a concealer. So what's been happening is the days are getting way longer, and it's like almost 10 o'clock and it's still daylight. So you're like, well, who can go to bed now, right? Because the sun is still up and still out. So I wind up staying up later. I'm still getting up the same time in the morning, which means I'm developing some major under eye circles. And I've already got them, like I was born with them and they're there all the time. But now that I'm not getting as much sleep as I usually do in the winter when it gets dark around 4 o'clock, where I live, dark circles are they're unbearable. And so Bobbi Brown, her Corrector, let's say series, has an amazing range of color. This one is peach. So like you, I watch a ton of YouTube videos, and I learned from some YouTubers that when it comes to combating under eye circles, especially those blue dark circles, if you try to just go after them with a light concealer, like light in color, you just wind up like headlighting and highlighting your eyes, and it doesn't wind up combating the darkness. So if you use one that's peach or like salmon in color, that cancels the color of the blue circles, and then you go in afterwards with your brightening concealer, which I use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, which you can see is pretty light, especially in comparison to, see, so this is what I use first as a step 1, and then I follow with the light concealer, which as a step 2. Apparently I only can do things in 2 steps. Okay, whatever. So this is a bit thicker than what you find in a tube like this. So I apply the peach colored Bobbi Brown Corrector first. I use a Real Techniques foundation brush just so that I can get right underneath my eye up in here, because you only want to put it where the blueness, where the dark shadow is. And then I follow up with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, which is lighter in consistency, and I layer that over the top. And it works amazing. It looks like I slept like the 8 hours that I was supposed to. So who can complain about that? So the Bobbi Brown Corrector comes in an amazing range of colors that include a lot of peachy, salmony, or even pink, depending on your skin tone. Colors beyond the normal range of concealers that you might find, which are often flesh toned or, you know, or lighter in color or sandy in color. But these peach bases and these salmony bases are the perfect thing to be able to cancel out your dark circles. And it's an amazing step one, because again, I do everything in 2 steps. Whatever. Summer's coming, like I said, and so I'm totally into like the bronzing and the warm, rich makeup tones. I did a review on the Milani bronzing summer collection that they came out with. I'll link that below. But one of the products in there was their lip gloss. And it's kind of a rosy toned lip gloss with some gold shimmer in it. And it's just really, really pretty. Perfect for summer. Plus, it smells amazing. It smells like cake. I'm not sure I should be putting the smell of cake so close to my nose, because that would drive me right to a bakery, and then all bets are off at that point. But you know, if you've got the willpower and you can stand to just experience the smell versus the taste, this Milani gloss for not a lot of money. Like I said, it's called Dolci, and it's part of a special kind of summer bronzing release that they had. And I've really been loving it. It's not tacky at all. It can be worn alone. It can be worn over a base lip color. And I've just been really having a lot of fun with it, and I think it's perfect for summer. Speaking of summer tones and getting ready for the summer sun, I've pulled out an oldie but goodie. This is by MAC. This is their Warm Soul blush. It's one of their mineralized blushes. It doesn't really look like much in the pan, which is exactly what the gal at the MAC counter said to me. But it does amazing things on your face. I'm actually wearing it right now. What I love about it, well, first of all, like I said, it barely even swatches. I mean, I'm putting a lot of color, and it's right here. What I like about this blush is that it's a very neutral blush color, meaning you could do a lot with your eye makeup, or you could do a lot with your lip color. But what's nice is that the blush itself is very neutral and very calm in nature. So you could basically wear it with anything. That being said too, it works out really good for the summer because it is this kind of peachy bronzy color that has just a little bit of shimmer, but no glitter. I am anti-glitter because you don't want to be sparkling in the sun like a vampire or anything. It just winds up working out just really good, I think, for summer. It's like your go-to blush. If you're not sure what blush color to use with your makeup look that you've already applied, you go with this because you can't go wrong with this. This one is like no mistakes allowed. Another MAC product that I've been loving, which is actually brand new, is part of their matte lip collection. I got the color Whirl, which I'm also wearing right now. They also have a lip liner Whirl. Look at that color. Oh my goodness. They describe it as a dirty rose, and you can definitely make this dirty. I don't mean it that way. You can definitely make this dirty though if you wind up putting on a lot of layers, because then it becomes more dirty than more rose. So if you use it with a light enough hand, depending on your skin tone again, it winds up being just an amazing, not too bright, again, very subtle. If you go heavy on your eye makeup, but you don't want to put on a pale nude, you want to give your lips some color, I find that this lipstick by MAC works really well for that, because again, it's not so much color, but it's not that 1990s like brown that had been popular for a while. And so again, it winds up being, it's a nice alternative to a nude lip color if you are wearing a strong eye, but also if you're kind of neutral and natural everywhere else, it's a nice way to add some color to your face without making a bright pop of color. I actually use a lip balm base with it because I find that it is a very dry formula, which is great. When you buy a matte, that's what you're looking for. It's a little bit too dry for me after a period of time. So I find that if I use a lip balm first, just as kind of a base, It smooths it out without making it shiny, and it still winds up lasting a really long time. Got a couple other beauty things I want to talk about. One of them is by Benefit. It's the Professional face primer. Yes, it's so tiny, right? Because I bought the sample. The sample was like 1/3 of the price for not quite 1/3 of the size. And I thought, why am I gonna spend all that money if I'm not even sure I'm gonna like it? And I've heard that some people either love this or hate this. I actually really like it. It's got a slight color to it, which kind of scared me at first. You can see it, just that little, I mean, it's nothing obnoxious or anything, but it blends in clear, so that's no biggie. I like it because it's a little bit tacky, which I feel like makes my makeup have something to adhere to without being so sticky, because that's gross. But it's smoothing and silky enough. It's smoothing and silky enough so that it winds up gliding on nicely. So it's a nice combination of the two. I find that some other primers, I feel like I'm like putting on just kind of a thick oil on my face, and that's gross. First of all, because I already have oily skin to begin with, but secondly, that's just gross to put like a slime on your face, and sometimes I feel like that's how some primers are. This, I feel like I said, is a nice balance between the two. I find that it is actually a little bit mattifying. I've noticed that when I haven't used it, I might have a little bit more shine to my face as the hours go on that I might not have otherwise had I used this. And so I'm actually going to be doing a review comparison, including this primer against some other primers and telling you kind of pros and cons and what I like and don't like about each of those. And that's actually coming pretty soon too. So stay tuned for that. But I definitely like the Professional, and I will most likely be going to purchase a full size when I run out of this tiny guy. But how cute is this tiny guy? Oh my God. I'm a little bit pissed because I've been finding that even when you invest a lot of money into some higher end makeup brushes, they're not holding up as well as I would expect a $40 and $50 makeup brush. I'm holding this like I'm a conductor or something. They're not holding up as good as a $40 or $50 makeup brush should, or at least according to what my expectation of holding up should be. And so Morphe brushes are definitely making a presence, and so I caved and gave in as well, and I bought one. I bought the MB5, which is a duo fiber brush actually. Super, super soft, super soft. I completely dislike a brush that you feel prickly against your face. You don't feel any prickliness with this. No prickle, okay people, no prickle. What's interesting is, I mentioned in my Milani Dolci summer bronzing review video, was that I actually use this for bronzer. It's kind of the antithesis of what a bronzer brush is or should be from what I've seen. A lot of bronzer brushes are very dense, and that's good because it's meant to, you know, you're supposed to very softly, you know, unless you're doing some intense contouring. But if you're just kind of trying to bronze up the face, you don't want there to be any harsh lines or anything. But sometimes I find that the bronzer brushes are just too dense in and of themselves, and the first touch you do winds up being a stamp. And I'm like, okay, now that's great. Now I've got to blend that in, and now I'm moving my foundation around, and that's frustrating and unnecessary, I feel. So this brush is so soft, yet it's so wide that I find I totally have the opportunity to build the level of bronzer that I want, and I wind up not having any streaks. I don't have any stamp. I'm not sure what this is. I don't have any stamp of color. Again, it's so soft. It's a duo fiber on the top, so it doesn't pick up a lot of product. Gives me way more control. Now, if you feel like you don't want to invest as much time into applying bronzer, then maybe this doesn't work for you. But when it comes to putting darker shades on my face, I like to have the control. And so I love that this bronzer is big, but really soft, doesn't pick up a ton of product, and there's no prickly attached to it. So this brush is a complete score. As a result of buying this brush, I then went and ordered a couple other Morphe brushes, which I will either talk about in a haul or review at some point, because now I'm really curious to see what else they have. Score. Speaking of brushes, I am using a new brush cleaner that I just recently learned about. It's called Cinema Secrets. Yeah, hi, this is how much I love it because I bought it in the Chikunga size. This is very liquid, you know, it's like water, not water, but you know, it pours like water does. I hate cleaning my brushes with a soap-based cleansing agent, you know, like a shampoo or something that lathers, because then you're running that brush under the water, and I don't like that. I suppose every once in a while that might be a good idea. I haven't found it necessary yet, but maybe doing, I consider that like a deep and thorough cleaning, but I don't want to do that once a week to my brushes because I worry about how well the brushes, the bristles are staying within the brush. If you're constantly like pulling on them and with soap and water, whether you, even if you're using a good kind of soap, I don't like that. So this, oh my gosh, this is my step 2 in my brush cleaning process, which I really should talk about now at some point. I will do a video on that as well. But this is my step 2. This cleans anything. I use it for eye makeup brushes, foundation brushes, anything. You pour it into a little jar, a little bowl, and like magic, I swear, it cleans your brushes so fabulously. I got this on Amazon. It's more expensive than you think it should be, but when you're talking about investing money in brushes and wanting to save them and treat them as gently as possible, this is the bomb. Live for it, live for it. Again, I found it on Amazon, and actually I'm gonna link everything down below where you can get all the stuff that I mentioned if I can definitely find it. So love the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. Like I said, it's my part 2 in my brush cleaning. Why does everything have 2 steps? Am I complicating my life? I really hope not. But I just find sometimes the way you build an eyeshadow look, you have to apply and blend and apply and blend. If you just go on and slap on one color or whatever, it's no good at the end. So I don't know. I've got a step 2. But this is fabulous. If you choose only to buy this, I'm sure it would work for you just fine. The last product that I want to talk about is this guy, the Dove Deep Moisture Nourishing Body Wash. They call it Nutrium Moisture. I like that they said the word moisture a number of times because that's how you feel when you're done. You feel moisturized. Now, I did a review on some in-shower lotions. I'll put that link down below also. But when you use this, you don't even need an in-shower lotion. So if you're pressed for time, this is fabulous. Again, I also purchased this in the Chikunga size because it's that much of a value, and I use it that much. I go through this pretty quickly. Not that you need a lot of product, but I use it the most in my shower. Smells really nice. Nothing, you know, I mean, it's none of the fancy, you know, vanilla bean lavender or, you know, almond something. It just has a nice gentle smell. It doesn't smell like grandma, so that's a plus. And this is not my first bottle, so I've been through quite a bit of these and rue the day that they discontinue it. Does that ever happen to you? You wind up loving something and then you're like, oh, great, thanks, you're not making it anymore. So hopefully this stuff continues on because I'll turn into that person. I'll find out it's going to be discontinued and I'm going to buy 4,800 bottles and like have to rent a storage unit in order to put all that stuff. So super cool, super good. So now a couple of non-beauty favorites this month. I read the book, I finished the book called Life in Motion by Misty Copeland. She is the very successful, very professional. Well, she is a professional, but she's the very successful ballerina. I really enjoyed this book because it went into her life and her development, actually, or she did. It's an autobiography. She went into her life in great detail, actually. And what I love about her and this book is that she shouldn't have made it. She had a million excuses, and she could have just used one of them to keep herself from becoming successful as a ballerina, and which is very hard to do. The reason I enjoyed reading it, not only was her writing style very enjoyable, I shouldn't even say reading it because I actually listened to it on Audible, and it was very compelling, and I really wanted to read the book in the first place because, again, she is super successful and had to work very hard, and I want to learn from other people who were successful. You were successful, I want to be successful, so how about I learn from the best? And Misty Copeland, her book Life in Motion was just amazing, so I definitely recommend that. Like I said, I listened to it on Audible, which is why I can't hold a picture of it right here. I've also been loving a TV show, which is completely outside of my box of normal things that I would like to watch. It's called called Orphan Black, and it's on BBC America, actually. And it's a science fiction based show, which I would never, that's just not me. But this TV show, my husband found it just kind of scrolling, reading reviews and stuff, and it got really amazing reviews. It's about this girl who finds out that she is one of a number of clones, and she winds up then running into her clones and then having, for a number of reasons, seek out the rest of the clones because there's drama attached to being a clone. I guess everybody has problems, right? What makes the show so amazing is the actress who plays the main clone in the show, because as it turns out, as we're going on, they're adding more and more clones. Anyway, I believe her name is Tatiana Maslany. I might be saying that wrong, but she winds up playing like 8 different characters, and they all have their own language, manner of speaking, body styles, she winds up looking like completely different people. So I love the show for that reason, but I also love the show because it's not the usual, like for example, I loved Friends, but you kind of knew where it was going. It's a bunch of people hanging out, they were dating and, you know, each other and dating other people, and it was about their lives. This one is about clones, and you kind of don't know where the story is going to go. And I think there's something really enjoyable in that, because you can't predict how creative they're going to be. And because the characters themselves, not only of the clones, but the rest of the characters around her, they're all so enjoyable that you really wind up, I find myself becoming really invested in them, and I have no idea where the writers and creators are going to take the show. And I really enjoy that now when watching a TV show. And like I said, it's science fiction, so I'm kind of also really proud of myself because I stepped outside my box. I have one anti-fave or anti-favorite this month. I don't even have it anymore because I brought it back because I was so annoyed at it. It's by NYX, which as a brand I generally love, but it's what they call, it's a liquid eyeliner called the Collection Noir. Sounds very fancy. It's very annoying. It's just a black liquid eyeliner. I'm kind of into liquid eyeliners lately. And I've been trying a couple of different brands, drugstore and higher end ones as well. And I put this one on and it's shiny like the sun. I mean, it's black, but it is so shiny. And I definitely prefer a matte liner for sure. I was reading the package and it kind of doesn't say either way. And that was what made me mad. I was like, it doesn't specify that it's a glossy finish. And I feel like the standard and the obvious would be a matte finish. But not only because that's what I want, right? Because that's what I want, that's what they all should be. But I just feel like that's what is kind of the standard and the common. And this one was super glossy, and I was like, no, we are not doing glossy black eyeliner. And so I just brought that back. But I bought it at Ulta, they took it back, no problems. I think it's time that I conclude my May favorites because I feel like I've been talking forever. So thank you so much for getting through the whole video with me. Please leave me a comment below about what your favorites have been this month because I love trying products based on other people's recommendations and reviews. So please leave a comment if you've got a favorite that you think I might enjoy, or if you want to encourage me to step outside my box, because that might be my theme for June, is trying to step outside my box, I would love it. I am on Instagram and Twitter, so if you want to check me out over there, it's under my name, same as YouTube here. If you haven't already subscribed, I would appreciate it, but if you like this video, please let me know. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a really good one, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Blah, blah.